It was recently announced that the Washington Commanders would start their rookie quarterback Sam Howell in their Week 18 matchup against the Cowboys. Do you think Howell can perform well and lead the Commanders to victory? Also, the Commanders have been eliminated from playoff contention, but there's plenty at stake in the final game against the Cowboys. So what's at stake? Keep watching for more information on all of this in this video. Starting us off, the Commanders are set to start rookie Sam Howell at quarterback in the Week 18 game matchup with the Cowboys. The Washington Commanders, who have a record of 7-8-1, are switching around the quarterback lineup one final time to finish the 2022 campaign after being eliminated from postseason contention. Coach Ron Rivera said on Wednesday that Washington would start rookie Sam Howell as quarterback against the Dallas Cowboys. Howell will play in his first regular season game this coming week after being chosen in the 5th round of the 2022 NFL Draft. Meanwhile, Carson Wentz probably won't play in the season finale. Earlier Wednesday, NFL Network insider Mike Garofalo stated that Howell and Taylor Heineke would likely face Dallas. Following Rivera's announcement, Howell was subsequently observed receiving more first-team reps in practice than Heineke. Rivera defended his choice to start Howell by stating that it would be Howell's first start and that dealing with all the responsibilities that come with being a starter has turned into a bit of a circus. However, Rivera also had to consider the opposition, how they were playing, and why they were playing. Rivera, however, concluded that at the end of the day, that would be Sam's choice to start if he ever gets the chance. Why not get it out of the way now and move on? What matters most is that they were eager to see and learn what Sam could accomplish as a quarterback in the league. In light of Washington's tenuous hold on a wildcard slot and Ron Rivera's belief that the club needed a spark, the choice to replace Heineke with Wentz before last week's game against the Browns received a lot of attention. After sustaining a finger fracture, Wentz went out for about 2 months. Heineke filled in nicely and helped Washington to a 5-3-1 record in his 9 starts. Heineke continued to serve as the starter when Wentz first came off injured reserve before Week 15. The Commanders subsequently lost their next 2 games, despite Wentz taking over for Heineke late in Washington's defeat to San Francisco in Week 16 and leading a touchdown drive. With the Commanders' chances of making the playoffs on the line, Rivera went on to make Wentz the starter for Week 17. Wentz struggled in his return game against Cleveland, throwing 3 interceptions and completing only 16 of his 28 passes for 143 yards. As a result of the defeat and victories by the Lions and Packers, along with the Commanders' meager 10-point output, they were no longer in the playoff race. After the setback in Week 17, Rivera was reluctant to endorse Wentz or a switch at quarterback. But now that they have nothing to lose in Week 18, the Commanders are starting a rookie at the most crucial position in the game. Starting Howell in Washington's final game could spell the end for Wentz in the district. Last offseason, the veteran quarterback was traded to the Commanders from the Indianapolis Colts. Wentz's contract has 2 more years left, but no money is guaranteed. Wentz may be dealt once again this summer, but the 30-year-old might be a top candidate for a cut with contract figures north of $26 million in each of the next 2 seasons. Even if Washington's season is set to end on Sunday, there is still much at stake for the Cowboys. Dallas will have secured the NFC East championship if the Cowboys defeat Washington and the Eagles lose to the Giants. With the 49ers loss to the Cardinals, Dallas will have clinched the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. However, Dallas will earn the number 5 seed in the NFC and face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Super Wildcard Weekend if the Eagles win or the Cowboys lose. At AT&T Stadium, Cooper Rush and the Cowboys defeated Wentz and the Commanders in their first meeting, 25-10. The matchup will take place at FedEx Field this time, with Howell taking on Dak Prescott. Next, the Commanders' QB Heineke told the coaches to start Howell over him. The Commanders are already out of the playoff picture before Sunday's regular season finale versus the Cowboys. They'll start a new quarterback against Dallas, although it seems that wasn't the coaching staff's top option. According to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, Taylor Heineke was supposed to start for the team on Sunday. That changed when Heineke urged the coaches that youngster Sam Howell, who he thought deserved to play the entire game, should take his place. Howell was selected in the 5th round of last year's draft by Washington. He has yet to play in a game this season, so Sunday would be his NFL debut. Heineke has led the Commanders to a 5-3-1 record in 9 games this season. The 29-year-old has completed 62.2% of his passes for 1,859 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Howell started 37 games throughout his 3 seasons as a starter at North Carolina, throwing for 10,283 yards and 92 touchdowns. Following, the Commanders are eliminated, but there is plenty at stake in the Cowboys finale. It takes all control away when you lose the way the Washington Commanders have since the calendar turned to December. The Commanders currently don't have a playoff spot or a high pick in the first round of the NFL Draft. Additionally, Washington does not yet know who its opponents for the 2023-24 season will be. The outcomes, however, will vary greatly depending on what occurs in the NFL regular season's final week. 9 NFL clubs have fewer victories or more defeats than Washington. The Commanders' season-long tie with some teams may even cost them in some instances, since they will have 1 fewer loss than those teams, even if they may have tied in victories. Washington needs wins from the Tennessee Titans, New York Jets, Cleveland Browns, and New Orleans Saints to occupy 4 positions. The good news is that none of those teams play against one another this weekend, so they can all win. Of course, to deal with this reality, the Commanders must also lose. Depending on what happens with the NFL teams now at 8-8, Washington's position in the standings may drop as far back as 18th overall if it wins and moves to 8-1. These clubs are the New England Patriots, Seattle Seahawks, Detroit Lions, Miami Dolphins, Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers, and Detroit Lions. Several of those have the potential to be playoff teams, eliminating them from consideration for a top 18 choice. Next up are the Commanders' 2023 opponents. In 2023, Washington will face the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, and New York Giants twice. The Commanders will also play at home against the San Francisco 49ers, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, Arizona Cardinals, and teams from the NFC West and AFC East divisions. Washington will travel to play the New England Patriots, Los Angeles Rams, Seattle Seahawks, and New York Jets. But they'll also play a home game against an NFC North opponent and away games against AFC West and NFC South opponents. The clubs in question will be the ones that place in their respective divisions at the same level as the Commanders in the NFC East. In the NFC North and AFC West, the Chicago Bears and Denver Broncos have already clinched last-place finishes, so we know that Washington will host the Bears and visit the Broncos next season. With the Atlanta Falcons and Carolina Panthers 6-10 heading into the weekend, the NFC South is home to the lone opponent still up for grabs. The Panthers will take on the New Orleans Saints as Atlanta plays the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both games are at the same time, and the Falcons will host the Commanders next season if Carolina defeats New Orleans or Atlanta loses to the Buccaneers. If the Panthers lose and the Falcons beat Tampa Bay, Washington will merely add a road trip to its trip to the Carolinas the following season. As you can see, when the Commanders take the field against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday afternoon, there might not be much at stake for the 2022 NFL season, but there's a lot at stake for the 23 season this weekend. Finally, Commanders rookie QB Sam Howell beats the Cowboys in his NFL debut. In response to Sam Howell's first touchdown throw in the NFL, Terry McLaurin immediately flung the ball into the crowd in jubilation. Howell didn't mind at the time since he was enjoying the unlikely situation. The Washington Commanders staff arranged for it to be returned, and he was more than willing to sign a new ball to swap with the fan who had his small piece of history. After defeating his favorite childhood team, the Dallas Cowboys, in his first time as a professional, he was all smiles. Since Robert Griffin III in 2012, Howell became Washington's first rookie quarterback to score touchdowns by passing and running. With the club seeking consistency at the most crucial position in sports, Howell may be in the running for the starting job next season. Howell, who finished 11 of 19 for 169 yards with a touchdown pass and an interception, said he didn't know what the situation would be, but he'd be ready for it and come motivated. He went on to say that he knew there would be a lot of decisions to make, but he would go to work and try to be the best player he could be. Howell provided the spark on offense Coach Ron Rivera believed Carson Wentz would bring last weekend against Cleveland, keeping the Commanders' playoff chances alive. However, when Wentz threw 3 interceptions, Washington lost and was out of the running. Taylor Heinicke filled in for Wentz, who was benched and sidelined, but still made an impact on the field by letting Howell use his stadium suite for his family and friends. In the following season's competition, Howell and Heinicke may be joined by another quarterback. Before having an underwhelming senior year at North Carolina, Howell was thought to be a top 10, if not the first draft choice a couple of years ago. The Commanders selected him in the 5th round, allowing him to spend the season working out behind Heinicke and Wentz. Even if his debut wasn't flawless, much of his hard work paid off as seen by the touchdowns and completion to McLaurin of 52 yards. So that's it, guys. The Commanders got to use their rookie QB Sam Howell and still won their season finale match against the Cowboys. Do you think Sam Howell can be their starting QB next season due to his performance? Let's hear your comments in the section below. Please remember to subscribe, and thank you for watching.